Okay, y'all. Good morning. It's Thursday morning. We're off today, and the reason we're off is because tomorrow's my birthday, and I was supposed to take tomorrow off, but I can't because we have to do the $1 Million Street, and I need Katie to help us with that. So she has to work her other job, you know, all week, but Friday she's off of her other job. So I had planned on having Friday off this week, you know, even though there's a lot of turmoil and a lot of things going on in the business, you know, I'm not going to get Friday off. So today's the day, and I'm going to spend the day running around, taking care of a few errands. I got up here this morning to the shop, you know, and I got a flat tire on the trailer. There's a screw in one of the tires. So I had to, you know, pump it up, and I'm going to take it over here to, I'm going to take the whole trailer and everything over here to the tire shop and let them do what they do. I'm not really, I got a spare and I could put it on there, and if it were a blowout, that's what I would do. But the air's just, you know, coming out slow. I have been known, and I don't recommend it, I got a disclaimer, I have been known to drive, you know, with the trailer tires on the lawn trailers, not on the big trailer, but on the lawn trailers, with a screw in the tire and just keep putting air in it for for a long time. Okay, so I appreciate all the comments on the videos the last few days. I know they've been a little bit, you know, I don't know about it intense, but you know, they just been, well, just what I go through, right? You know, and I've had a lot of people come in the comments, you know, about the money that I pay these guys and all that, man. You know, at the end of the day, I know what the going rate around here is, and I don't believe, and you know, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't believe that any of these guys coming in the comments talking about they pay, you know, $25 an hour or whatever to a weed eater guy. I don't believe that. He's got to be able to do more than that. And I certainly don't believe that they pay $25 an hour to a guy that can't seem to come to work for more than a week or two straight before something's up, right? And I guess that's my fault, right? I guess it's, the guys are coming in the comments and they're like, well, you can't keep employees. I just want somebody to tell me what I'm doing wrong, other than putting them on blast on YouTube. I mean, that's the only thing that I mean, tell me what am I doing, you know, that other employers are not doing. I plan every day. I have a list every day. I methodically make sure that the equipment's running great. I buy the best equipment money can buy. I make sure they got ice in the cooler. Make sure that they're getting paid good money. I make sure that they're learning as we go, and you know, all that. I don't really know what I'm doing any different than another employer. Not paying them enough? Well, I can say this with you know, with pretty good accuracy. You know, I have never known, and maybe that they didn't tell me, but I have never had an employee quit on me because of money. Not ever. Not ever. Matter of fact, they always seem to come back. They'll quit on me because they ain't got a ride. They'll quit on me because I demand too much of them out here, like, you know, keeping a phone. I've had to fire guys because they couldn't keep a cell phone. I've had to fire guys because they couldn't get a ride to and from work. And I don't know what the normal, you know, philosophy is on guys coming to work, but and you know, bosses going and picking their guys up and all that. you know, I don't want to do that. You know, I'm not saying they're wrong for doing that. I'm just saying that I'm not going to do that. I'll do it in a situation, but the goal for the business, and, you know, I'm going to get into it here, you know, it's a little bit deeper than your average employee-employer relationship here. Because at the end of the day, man, it's about helping these guys as well as employing them and mentoring them, if you will. Well, Ray, you're a shitty mentor. That's okay. You can think that. But where I come from and where I'm at now and where I'm going tomorrow and the next day and the next year and the next 5 years is better than I was 2 weeks ago. Okay? So, and all I want for the guys that come out here and work is to grow, to evolve, and to become accountable, right? Beyond us making money, we have to make money, right? We have to. You know, that's not up for debate. But my business is a little bit different, right? And it's not. I'm not saying I'm special or nothing, but it's a little bit different because it's so small, and our profits are good for what it is, and I can live really good on what I make, and I do live good. I don't hurt for nothing, y'all. You know, the notion that I want to have $1 million business, well, that I think I've said it probably 100 times. I don't never see me having $1 million business. You know, it could, maybe not. You know, or having to deal with 5 or 10 employees. You know, I just don't see that, and I don't really know what I'm doing wrong when it comes to the employees. I guess, you know, a lot of people are coming into comments and they're saying things like, well, you need to work on 40 hours a week. Again, I get that. I know that's what the government has planted in everybody's head. And maybe if I did 40 hours a week, the guys would do better. But I don't really see how, because I'm having a hard enough time guys showing up for work doing 30 hours a week, give or take. And everything when I talk about hourly stuff, it's all give or take. Nothing's in stone. I don't pay a guy $25 an hour, 30 hours a week. I don't pay a guy $20 an hour, 35 hours a week. I don't pay a guy, you know, $50 an hour, 10 hours a week. I'm just talking about on average, you know, give or take, and the give or take can swing really high or really low. So for guys coming at me in the comments talking about, well, you said they work 30 hours at $25 an hour. I don't pay by the hour. Any knucklehead that works for me knows I don't pay by the hour. And any of you guys that have watched the channel for any period of time, y'all know I don't pay by the hour. Paying by the hour is the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard. It is. Paying by the hour does not motivate efficiency. It does not make guys do better, be better. It doesn't. So some days these guys, you know, will make, you know, $140, $150. Some days they'll make $120, and some days they'll make $100. That's just the way. That's the way it is when it, on a P for P environment. Now I'm going to make sure that they get good money based on what we do. If they come out here and it starts raining or whatever, and we have to go in, then I'm going to pay them I'm going to pay them anyway. But with that being said, I'm going to make sure that we don't do that, because I'm on the hook for it either way. Does that make sense? I don't know. But when you're doing what I'm doing out here, and it's more than just making money. Well, 9 times out of 10, the guys that work for me, they need some leadership in their life. They need some structure in their life. They need some, somebody in their ear a lot of times to help them and guide them through some of the stuff that comes up for the younger generation these days that I see coming a mile away. And and that's what I try to do, as well as pay them good. Of course, if they can't come to work and they can't keep their stuff together, then they don't make as much money. At the end of the day. Well, you can't do that, Ray. You ain't got nothing to do with what they do when they off time. You are so correct. And I wish that I did not know what they do in their off time. See, the thing is, and I'm going to get into this real quick too, because it kind of perturbs me just a little bit. And not that saying that you guys are wrong, because a lot of what you guys say is really true, right? But I don't care. Let me break it all the way down from the very beginning. When I hire a guy out here, I guarantee them blah, 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 blah. Then with that being said, they guarantee me blah, 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 blah. Okay? And that blah, 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 blah on their end is, coming to work, working hard and smart, having a phone, being accountable and responsible for what you do. That's what our agreement is when they come on board. Now, my responsibility in that same scenario is, okay, I'll make sure I have work for you. I'll make sure I don't drag the crap out of you, and I'll make sure I pay you really good. And that's my responsibility in the relationship, right? And I do that like clockwork. I make sure we have work. I make sure that I pay them well. I make sure that I have the best equipment money can buy. I make sure that I put them in a scenario where they're not having to work like well, I make it where they don't have to work as hard as they could have to work. And but I do that, but they got to do their end too. And that's where I start running into problems, because a lot of times on their end, their off the field stuff, it affects me. So it ain't none of my business what they do off the field, right? It ain't none of my business what they do in their off time, and I would like no more than to not even know what they do in the off time. Don't care. Until you call me talking about you was at the bar last night and you got a DUI and then you need to get bonded out of jail. Right? Well, then it becomes my problem, see? But now, my agreement with that particular person is, and not that, any guys have done that, I'm just using that as an example. But then my end of the bargain is still being held up, but theirs is not. Not because of a decision I made, but because of the decision they made. So I don't want to control the guys. If I don't ever know any of these things, I'm perfectly good. But I always end up finding out, because it always ends up affecting me, because they always end up not coming to work. Always. Or not calling, or doing some knucklehead crap out here on the job because they ain't in their right mind or whatever. And I'm not talking about anybody in particular. I'm just saying in general. So the notion that the employer, the notion that the employee, what they do off the field, ain't none of the employer's business, I love that. I want that. I don't even want to know none of that dumb stuff they get into. But I always end up knowing, because why is that, y'all? Because it always affects me. That's why. So to say that, it ain't none of my business what they do in the after work hours, good, cool. I don't want to know. I don't. And if you handle your business in a way to where I don't have to know, then that's good. Then it never affects me. I never know the difference, and I'm cool. You could go get a DUI as long as your mom and daddy gonna bail you out of jail before the next morning, then we're good. You can go run the streets and wreck your car, and as long as you got somebody that's gonna pick up the pieces and bring you to work the next day, then I'm good. I have no problem with that, right? No problem at all. But that's not what I'm getting. What I'm getting is when they do these things off the field, it ends up coming full circle back to me, where they need to borrow money, or they can't come to work, or something like that. So I don't know how anybody can say what they do off the field don't affect me, because that's simply not true. For the guys that I've had working for me over the years, right? Ideally, you want to get a young man that has got a wife and kids, and or got a new baby, and and ain't got time for all the shenanigans, right? Then I don't say anything. I've never said one thing to Francisco about what he does off the field, because it never has affected me. I only say things to him when it starts affecting me. And our agreement, I said our agreement before I brought them on board, there's only 3 or 4 things that I ask from these guys that is a mandatory minimum. There's no room for negotiation. Number 1, show up every day. Number 2, have a cell phone. And number 3, have a driver's license. And number 4, be willing to learn and work. That's it. That's it. That's all you gotta have. And most of the time, at some point during a season, a 3 or 4 month season, when everything starts getting hot and it starts getting a little bit harder out here, I start having guys that can't keep their phone on. Okay, a little red flag. That's an agreement that we have before they were hired. So, the car's broke down. Okay, what's wrong with your car? Let me help you get it fixed so you can get back to work. Oh, the reason my car is down is because I was way the hell up somewhere where I had no business being, and I wrecked my car. Not my business, right? No, not until they don't come to work. Not until I have to go pick them up and take them home and pay them. Yeah. It's easy to come in the comments and say it ain't none of my business, but if you were in my shoes, you'd be looking at the decision-making process of some of these young men, and you'd be like, damn, dude, what the hell are you doing? Not that it's my business or nothing, I know a lot of you guys, well, just fire them, Ray. I mean, I could do that. Then what? That ain't helping me, and that ain't helping them. Right? Is it? I just want to make sure that you guys understand, where I'm coming from. And, if I don't know, if Coca-Cola Company hires you to be a driver, right? And then you running around in the off time and you get a DUI, that does not affect them? That doesn't. Do you think the employer would be okay with you running around at night and you catch a DUI? It ain't their business, though. It ain't none of their business. There's been many folks that done lost their job, lost their career because of a move they made off the field. I mean, and in my business, with the relationship that I have with these young men that come out here, I'm trying to show them and mentor them and show them how to live without all that dumb crap. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't, and sometimes it's too much for them, and sometimes it's not. And I will agree, maybe sometimes I shouldn't put everything I say to these guys or what they do on YouTube. I agree with that. I mean, I'm trying to do better about that, but sometimes it's just hard for me to do it and keep it real at the same time. I can't I don't know how to do that. I'm not an actor. And it's so shallow to think, well, you just ain't paying them enough, Ray. That's the most shallowest statement I've ever heard in my life, man. And it ain't my fault if a guy can't make it to work. And it ain't my fault if he can't keep a phone on. And it ain't my fault if he wrecks his car or runs his car into somebody's house or whatever. That ain't my fault, but it affects me more than anybody. So I kind of make it my business to make sure that the guys that I hire are not running the streets at 3 o'clock in the morning. Just saying. It ain't none of my business, though. I don't no more want to monitor these guys off the field endeavors than a man in the moon. I could care less until they start no calling and no showing because of that. Or they don't have a way to work because of their decisions off the field. So to say that it ain't none of my business, well, I wish it wasn't. Really, you know.